Hi, everybody. Welcome to Magic Universe. This is Message from Universe 19. This reading is timeless and has a message for you for whenever you watch it. It's also a part of the Pick a Message playlist, and how to play with the playlist is in the description below. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I really, really appreciate you guys. And thank you so much for getting readings and healings from me. These messages here are general readings for the group. If you're interested in a private reading or healing that is just for you, then you can go to my website at magicuniverse.co. That's .co. Thank you. So here is a message from Universe 19. Enjoy. All right, you guys, this message is so good. Your spirit guides are coming in strong in this message. All right. So the color that I'm seeing you guys vibrate at is a pale yellow. There's this kind of, there's a white energy, like crystal-like energy. And then there's also a black kind of jaggedy kind of shape, okay, when I'm looking at this yellow. So it took a little bit for the yellow to show up because these other energies were just kind of like more prominent. And then as I kept saying the group, the message number 19, the yellow kind of surfaced from behind. I'm like, okay, that's what you're vibrating at. And what I'm seeing is that, oh, I'm just realizing that white crystal energy, that's your spirit guide energy. The black jagged energy that I'm looking at, it's all of the resistance, So say like the yellow is your path, right? It's what you're vibrating at. It's where you are right now. It's you being on your way to where you're wanting to go, right? And then so this kind of black jagged shape that I'm seeing is the resistance. It's any thoughts that you have, like doubt, any other people's opinions that you might have taken on to compare yourself with, or like just anything that kind of stops the flow of your energy towards you being yourself, right? Like that's what that black shape represents. All right, so we have the voodoo in blue back off, and this is telling that it's like this message is about persistence. It's about focusing on who you are and not allowing those other voices and those other energies, that black jaggedy shape, right? Not allowing that to overwhelm and take over, right? Like really being able to focus on who you really are, where you're wanting to go, who you want to become, right? And allowing your spiritual team to help you, to help guide you through and bring your energy up to the surface more, okay? Because as I was looking at the energies, just the colors and shapes and stuff like that, it's for some of you, it's in that space where it's like those other energies are overwhelming you so that it's really hard to see you, right? So if you look at the spread on the last row, the middle card, Suffering in Silence, it's kind of like that. And it's kind of like Shadow, the last card that came out. Okay, Shadow has a little bit more of empowerment, where you're taking back control of your space, okay? So, but the Suffering in Silence card, this is the Nine of Swords in traditional tarot. And if you just look at the picture without looking at the words, this is not a bad picture. This is a guy who, like, if you're familiar with the tarot, like the guy who goes into the Eight of Cups, where you're leaving something to move on to something that's more of an inner calling to you, okay? So it makes me think of that card, that kind of energy, where you took off on your own towards your own path, and not listening to anybody else, and just following your own heart, following your own intuition to go off by yourself towards this path that's calling to you. Oh, and I'm just noticing, it's interesting, it's a yellow sun, okay, because that's the color that you're vibrating at. And if you just look at this picture, and it's like, okay, this guy walked up all these steps to go to this cliff thing, and now he's looking towards the sun where he wants to go, and maybe he feels a little bit alone in this, but it's like that's calling to him. And he's thinking about, okay, I want to get there, and I'm here, and I want to get there, So I mean, it's not necessarily like a bad energy so much, maybe that you're looking at your goal and you're looking towards your future, and just saying, well, I'm here, and I'm wondering how to get there. But it's like a sunrise, so there's like hope and stuff, and there's these kind of jaggedy shapes in the way, right? That might be obstacles or something like that, but the sun is still peeking out over the horizon. And so you can look at it that way, where there's like hope. You're still a little bit of a distance from where you're wanting to go, but there's your direction right there, and you're pausing. You're sitting down, you're pausing to kind of take a breath, and also to assess, like, how do I go from here, But there's not that kind of hopelessness that's in the Nine of Swords sometimes, where in the traditional tarot, there's usually somebody in bed, like crying into their hands in bed, and there's all these swords, like mental thoughts that are keeping them from really feeling stable in their life, right? It's mostly about fear. But in this card, I feel like this is more about hope. But then if you look at the words suffering and silence, so there's two things going on here. Like, one, you might be more in the image, like some of you might be in that image where it's like, okay, I'm just pausing, taking a rest to see where do I go from here, and kind of like reaching for guidance, right? Asking your guides for guidance. And then if you look at the words though, then some of you might be in that kind of more suffering like state, where it's like, gosh, I really don't know how to get there, and I'm seeing all these obstacles in the way, and it's like pleading a little bit, right? Like, God help me, or something like that, right? So somewhere in between those two stages, or those two perspectives of where you are, comes in the shadow, where it's like looking at shadow, and then also the first card, voodoo in blue, back off, where you're telling these obstacles, or like these voices, or these doubts, or these fears, and you're telling them like, hey, I'm taking over this power, this scepter. I'm taking control, and I'm saying, oh, and I'm noticing that he's in yellow too, that I'm not gonna back off. Like, I'm not gonna let these fears and these doubts and these negative voices take over my space. I'm gonna gain back control of my own thoughts, gain back control of my feelings, gain back control of my perspective and my focus and my direction. And when you can do that, just kind of like tell these negative thoughts to back off, back down, like, shut up, right? And you're able to clear them and allow your mind, at least, even if you're not able to focus on the positive side yet, at least allow it to be neutral, right? To be in a neutral place, so that you can hear your guides calling you, to hear your spirit calling you and saying like, hey, we're here to help. Just all you got to do is open up and listen to us, and not listen to those other voices, right? All right. So in the second card, Vast Vistas, Expand Your Horizons, I feel like this is your spirit guides. This is your spirit team calling you out of that box of fear, right? Calling you out of that box of fear and say, hey, this is a wide open space full of opportunities, full of options for you, full of all these different ways to get you to where you want to go. Just come out of that box, but you have to be the one to realize that, hey, I need to step out of this lonely, dark hole of a box. I mean, maybe some of you aren't really in like that bad of a place where it's like a dark hole, but poke your head out of the window or out of the door every once in a while, right? Like, get yourself out of your room, out of your bed every once in a while, and take a look outside, take a look around, and say, hey, there's a whole wide world out there, and there's help, there's people, there's opportunities, and just kind of like even opening a window to let in fresh air and stuff like that. I feel like this is what it's about, like expanding your horizons, being able to look outside of your current situation, and being able to see that there are choices, there are pathways towards where you're wanting to go. And once you just even open the door, right? Like even if you don't step outside, if you just open the door so that you can hear your spirit guides, so that you can, and I'm saying hear a lot because if you look at the second row, the second card, clairaudience, some of you may not be able to envision, be able to see, right? Like maybe your clairvoyance is a little bit murky right now. If that is so, where you're not able to visualize where you're wanting to go, open your clairaudience, which is your hearing, okay, your hearing channels, and be able to hear your spirit guide. So if you can't see, that's okay. You can hear. Sometimes like hearing is a little bit easier to connect with your spirit team than visually, okay? And that's okay. I mean, all of your channels will eventually open, but if clairaudience is your thing where you're able to hear them or sense them in some way, like hear thoughts or hear voices or something like that, and that's easier for you, like, or if you hear music or something like that, and or like if you hear a song and the lyrics speak to you, things like that, right? Then that might be a more dominant channel or method or way that they're able to communicate with you right now. And it's not them communicating with you so much as your ability to receive from them. Okay, so maybe your clairaudient channel is more open right now than the other channels. Okay, so back to Vast Vistas, it's about hearing their call and like opening that door, opening that communication airway so that you can hear them, and then taking that step to step out of that box, to step out of this space where you're feeling like you're not sure, the uncertainty or the doubt or any kind of like negativity, right? Stepping out of that and being like, okay, I'm open to good things coming to me. And it's like you're the one who has to make that decision to do that. You're the one who has to look into your inner strength in order to just be decisive about, I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to open myself to opportunities. Okay. Wow. So yeah, I keep wanting to jump around because like all these messages, like all these cards all of a sudden is like they all connect to each other. Because the moment that I said inner strength, I was thinking about this Isis strength card, which, I had this, just now, I had the book covering the words at the bottom, so I didn't even remember that Isis was strength. But the moment that I said inner strength, I'm like, okay, talk about the Isis card. And now that I'm lifting the card, the book from the card, I'm like, oh, it actually says strength. So within the book, it says, Goddess of Magic, Isis gives you the strength to overcome. She makes miracles happen. So take advantage of all that incredible power behind you right now. And so when I picked this card, universe said to tell you guys to look up Isis online, to Google her. And I'm going to do a little bit of that right now and show you a couple of things that I found. But look up Isis yourself and see her story, see what about her resonates with you, because it'll probably be different for each one of you, like which parts, because there's so many different areas that she's like that's part of her story. Okay, so there's this one part that says that she absorbed traits from many other goddesses, and it just feels like she has so many different powerful aspects to her. And then it also says her reputed magical power was greater than that of all other gods, and she was said to protect the kingdom from its enemies, govern the skies and the natural world, and have power over fate itself, which is really, really cool. And then that was from Wikipedia. And then from the EgyptianMuseum.org, it says that Isis was very important to the ancient Egyptians because she had so many different powers. And I feel like this applies to you guys. Like you guys have so many different powers. She was both the protector of women and the bringer of magic. And I feel like underlining that, it's like recognizing your own magical powers, right? Isis began as a secondary figure to her husband Osiris However, after thousands of years of worship, she was transformed into the queen of the universe and the embodiment of cosmic order. And then by the Roman period, she was believed to control the power of fate itself. And I believe, like, just fate, you know, you having the power of over your own fate. I feel like that's like a huge message here. So again, if you look at the next two cards next to Isis, where, you know, the suffering in silence and the shadow card, it's like, if you're in that place, you have to recognize that you have power over that kind of jaggedy black shape that I was seeing, right? Like, you recognizing that will help you step out of that box to expand your horizons, to look into the opportunities and the callings that are calling to you, right? So this is really cool. The third card on the first row, appreciate this moment. Every situation is an opportunity to grow and find love. So Abraham always says, and when I talk about Abraham, I'm always talking about Abraham Hicks, my favorite teachers. They always say, like, the fastest way to get to where you want to go is to make peace with where you are and then anticipate great things coming. Okay. And so this is talking about that, like appreciating where you are right now. And there's always something good about where you are right now, even if it's like someplace you don't want to be. Say if it's a job that you're not liking and you're wanting to be doing something else, appreciate it for what it is. It's something that's giving you a little bit of stability right now, right? The money that's coming in, even if it's doing something that you're not enjoying that much. But if you can just focus on the good things about where you are right now, then it'll be the fastest way, because it'll open up your energy flow so that you can allow for these other opportunities to come in. Okay. And then so the regeneration card, I think it's perfect that I was seeing that kind of black shape or dark shape in the energy, that it kind of looks like this, because it's kind of like you're breaking out of that. This is like the what's coming for you, that you're going to be regenerating, that where whichever place that you're in right now, you're going to be called through that, through all of those other energies into a place of clarity. Okay. And so there's new growth coming for you. There's like a spring that's coming for you. Okay. And so you'll be coming out of that, moving aside those darker energies so that you're more connected to the light. And you can see this kind of like shimmery light that's coming down from the upper left corner, right, of the image. This could be a bodily health thing for somebody, because I'm just seeing in that the tree regenerating, that this is your body, and that health is coming in for you. Okay. And there's like a little, if you look closely, there's a little face in there. So this is your spirit with you. Okay. And then so on the second row, very, very spiritual energy here on the second row. You have spirit guides with you. For some of you, this wolf image is really standing out to me. For some of you, you might, if you're somehow resonating with wolves or dogs, or like wolf-like dogs, like some kind of animal that looks like this, like shaped like this, whether it be a pet that you used to have that's now in spirit form, or it could also be a pet that you have that is still in physical form, but like, you know, like as you're everybody, right? As you're in physical form, you at the same time you are spirit, right? So the spirit of this pet, this furry friend of yours, is your spirit guide. And so I feel like for some of you that might resonate, that you have an animal spirit guide that's in the shape of like a wolf or a dog of some sort, that's shaped like a wolf, that looks like a wolf. So your spirit guides are with you. So I'm gonna take a picture of the back of this card so you guys can pause the video and read through that yourself. This is from the mediumship training deck, but you don't have to be training for mediumship to get good stuff out of this. But it tells you how to connect with your spirit guides, and they are with you. And then also, if you look, and we talked about clairaudience, where they might be speaking to you through your clairaudient channel, or you might be receiving from them through your clairaudient channel more right now than through other channels. And then if you look at the last card on the second row, Owl, this is so funny. I was shuffling this deck, and two cards popped out. This one was on top. And I was like, is it owl? Like I asked the universe, right? I was like, is it owl? So I put both of those cards back in the deck, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. I said, if it's owl, give me back owl. And I picked again, and then owl came out. So it is owl. And so it's perfect because it says wisdom, prophecy, revelation, affirmation. I pay attention to my inner knowing, and secret truths are revealed to me. And so I feel like that owl is your spirit guide. Like that owl represents your spirit guide and your connection to your intuition, and how your intuition and your psychic channels are actually the communication pathways through which your spirit talks to you, right? And I'm also seeing some of you who, if you do any kind of reflective surface kind of clairvoyance, like I just know from Charmed, like they do scrying, like looking into a crystal ball, or like in this picture, looking into like a reflective basin of water or something like that. Some of you might do stuff like that and be able to see imagery. Yeah, so the back of this card says, there is more going on than meets the eye. Look beneath the surface to find your spiritual truth. Trust that you have helpers in the spiritual realms who are aware of what is happening and sending you messages to help you find your way, which is exactly what I was talking about, how your spirit guides are talking to you, right? Your spirit guides and angels. You will be able to move through any challenge successfully. Be patient, pay attention, and you will recognize the perfect time to make your move for the best outcome. And timing is so important. And you will hear them call you to the right time to make a move. So you are going to receive clarity in a matter that has been confusing or based on deception. All right. This is so cool. And then the middle three tarot cards here, this talks about connecting to your spirit, right? Connecting to your spirit team. So Hierophant talks about that. It talks about like faith. It talks about, it's more like a structured form of spirituality. So it might be religion for some of you, right? Or it might be talking, or it could be talking about like a set routine for connecting with your spirituality or practicing your spirituality. So like it could talk about having a routine for meditation, right? Maybe there's like some sort of routine. I keep thinking of like a morning routine where you just like you drink water. Drinking water is really important to connect the flow of your body to the flow of energy in your space, so that you can kind of flush out, physical toxins, but then also to clear your energetic space so that you can tune into the frequency of your spirit. And then also any kind of other spiritual practices that you do in the morning, any rituals that you might do. There's a focus in the morning time, but then I'm also seeing like maybe in the nighttime, like with the moon cycles and stuff like that, that you might do rituals, okay, in the nighttime. And it's all about connecting with, the lovers, right? Connecting with your spirit. And some of you might work with Archangel Raphael, which is the angel in the Lovers card. I mean, in this deck, it's a little mouse, but but usually the angel in the Lovers represents Raphael. And so some of you might work with Raphael on physical healing, but also like emotional healing and stuff like that. Some of you might actually be healers, okay, energy healers. And then the Three of Wands talks about this period of time where you're in preparation, preparing yourself in order for the next step. Okay, so that routine that I was talking about, your spiritual practice, your spiritual routine could be the way that you're preparing yourself to open up your channels to connect with your spirit guides so that you can hear them call you to your next step. Okay. Some of you might have like a group of people. I'm looking at the owl card, a group of people, like a spiritual community that you belong to. And you might share some of these practices with these people and just spend some time together in connecting with spirit together and see what you each receive and share the messages that you receive with each other. That might be a fun thing for you guys to do together. All right. So that's your message from New Universe 19. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this reading, go ahead and click on the thumbs up, like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.